Hi everybody! In this video I'm going to go through an activity from the modules and strings reading. So in particular I'm going to go through activity 1, which asks us to make a couple modifications to this key events.py file. So I'm going to save this into my CSCI 127 folder. And then I'm going to open it up in idle just to see what it looks like. Open. Alright, so it looks like I've got a little turtle program here. And the first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and run this and see what happens. So nice, it looks like it runs. And it looks like there's something going on with key presses, right, up, left, and down. And I can see that maybe if I press the right key, I call this east function that sets my heading, so that's the direction that I'm going, to 0. And we know that we start out facing east, so it kind of makes sense that a heading of 0 would be east. And then moves this turtle named drawer forward 50. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing the right key, and it looks like it's moving forward 50, pressing the up key 3 times, and it's moving forward 50 each time for probably about 150. And now I'm going to press the down key, and you can see it moves down. So it looks like this program just allows me to move the turtle around with the up, down, left, and right keys. And it looks like it will exit if I click, so I'll do that. Alright. So the first thing that this activity wants me to do is add some comments, and that seems like a great way for me to understand what's going on in the program, so I'll go ahead and do that. Oh, kind of surprised this is still here, but that's okay. Okay, so what's happening in this line right here? We are importing the turtle module. Then what are we doing? We're creating a turtle object. Oh, excuse me, this is not a turtle object. This is a screen object. Creating a screen object from inside the turtle module using the dot notation. Next, we are creating a turtle object actually here, and we're setting its speed to 0. Then what do? We're going to define functions to move turtle east, north, west, and south. That's what each of these does. Actually, you know what? I'm going to add comments for each one here. Function to move turtle east 50 pixels. This one is a function to move turtle north 50 pixels. This one is a function to move turtle west 50 pixels. And this one is a function to move turtle south 50 pixels. And move that up a little bit. And then what do these things do? Well, I already kind of said that they listen for key presses. And so let's scroll up and look at what is window. Window is this screen object that we created from inside the turtle module. And so it looks like this screen object has an onKey method that takes in a function, actually, and a name of a key. But in case we wanted to know more about this, or we actually didn't know what it was doing at all, we can always look up the documentation of the screen object. So let me do that. Python turtle screen documentation. And we definitely want Python 3, so maybe I'll put that in there. See what that gets us. Okay, well, we're inside turtle here, and I'm going to look and see if I can find screen. Turtle screen. So here we have our screen object, and let's see if we can find the onKey method. Alright, this looks like events that the screen will be able to process, and we see there's an onKey method here. Let's click it and we can see some information about it. So indeed, just like we said, onKey has a parameter called fun, which is a function that takes in no arguments, which our direction functions do satisfy that, and also a key. So, and that's supposed to be a string that describes the key. So, for example, A or space. And then what does onKey do? It binds the function fun to the release of the key. And so that makes a lot of sense, because what were we seeing with our program? We were seeing that when I press and release up, for example, we call the north function. So let me finish adding comments here. So I'm going to say, tell the window, the screen object window to listen for key presses and bind certain key presses to functions defined above. And then finally, I'm just going to add a comment here. Tell screen object to exit on mouse click. Alright, so I would consider this appropriately commented. So let's see what else we're supposed to do. Okay, modify the program so that pressing the F, the little f or the big F, moves the turtle forward 50 pixels in its current direction. So let's go back to our Python program. So what do we need to do? We need to add functionality to move turtle forward 50 in current direction when F or F pressed. So it looks like none of our current function definitions will work for that, right? Because when we press F, we need to go whatever direction we're currently going. And all of these reset the heading to the direction. So let's make a function to move turtle forward 50 in current direction. So how do we make this function? Well, we're going to follow the function syntax, the def keyword, and let's call it forward. And what do we need to do? All we need to do is move this turtle, which is named drawer, forward 50 without resetting the heading. because we just want to use whatever the current heading is. Now, let's tell our screen object to also bind the F key to this function so that this function will be called whenever I press the F key. So window.onKey, we need to call the function forward, and let's do it whenever we press little f, and let's also do it whenever we press big F. And that should actually do it. I'm going to remove this comment that I just put in there to remind myself what I was intending to do. And let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so I'm pressing up, and now I'm going to press F. And it looks like my turtle does indeed move forward in whatever direction it's currently facing. So now I'm going to press the left key, and then press Shift F, and it looks like Shift F works as well. So it looks like we've got the forward function working. Let's see what else we need to do in this activity. Modify the program so that pressing the little r or big R or page down turns the turtle 45 degrees to the right, but does not move the turtle. Alright, so go over to our program, and now what do we need to do? Well, in order to do this, we're going to need to define a new function and then tell the screen to call that function when we press the R key, right? So maybe to me that actually seems like the easiest thing to do first. We don't have the function yet, but we still know that we're going to need to do window.onKey. Let's call this right, because we're turning right 45 degrees. Maybe we could call it right 45 or something like that, but we'll just go right for now. We want to do it on R. We want to do it on big R. And we also want to do it on page down. And let's see. To me, this is suggesting that we can just use the string page down, but we'll have to see if that ends up working. Oops, sorry everybody. There we go. Okay. So now we need to define this right function. We'll write a comment first. Function to rotate turtle right 45 degrees without moving. We'll call it right. We actually already kind of set that down there. So we're going to have our jar turtle, and we're going to need to call a method on this turtle to rotate it 45 degrees. In case you have forgotten the turtle methods, which is totally reasonable, you can always go back to the documentation and maybe think to yourself, okay, I need to rotate. Okay, this tilt thing seems weird. Well, it turns out that the right method is actually the one that's going to rotate at 25 degrees clockwise. And this was one of the first methods we learned for turtle, but in general, if you're forgetting turtle methods, you can always look at the documentation, or always just ask as well. So it turns out that it's just right, which is nice and easy for us, and the angle we want is 45, and that should do it for us. So let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. Okay, so we get an error, and it's telling us that we're getting a bad event type or key symbol, is my guess what this is, page down. And that is not surprising to me because I did not know if page down was actually the right string to indicate that key. And so for now, actually, let's just comment that out and we can look it up later. And let's just make sure that our little r and big R are working. Okay, so I'm going to press little r and see if this rotates. So what do we expect to happen? It should rotate 45 degrees right, so it should be pointing down in this direction. And it looks like we did that. Okay, I'm going to press forward with my F key, and it looks like it's moving forward. Now I'm going to press capital R, and so I expect it to then be facing down, and that worked. Oop. I pressed R 2 more times, and now I'm going to press forward, and just to make sure that my other keys are still working, I'm going to press up and left and down and capital R again and F. And it all looks like it's working. So that's great. Now, for the test of my Python documentation skills, let's see if we can figure out what this page down string should be. Well, we saw, let's see if the on-key documentation gives us a link to key events. Okay, maybe we'll say Python key event key symbol page down. We'll see what we get. Well, we can check this out. Okay, so here I see a table that is telling me the key, and it looks like it's key symbol. And I'm just going to look for page down, down. Oh, page down on the keypad is KP_next. Another thing is, oh, okay, I see it on my keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to try this KP next in my program and see if it works. So I'm going to comment this out. But this is actually the kind of thing where I would say that you can't really tell what's going on just by reading the Python code, and so I would actually comment this one. Say something like KP next is page down key. Oh, no, it doesn't like it. Next. Okay, I don't know what the key, maybe there's a difference between the keypad and just page down. Well, our comment there was a little hopeful. Let's try next. Okay, it looks like we did not get an error, so that's a good sign. And let me, okay, my page down. Aha! I pressed my page down button and it looks like my right turn still happened. So to me, I think that that means that we have successfully implemented that right turn. So I'm going to click to exit, then I'm just going to go back and look at the activity, and it looks like we have finished it up. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope that was helpful.